Thanks for staying with us. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said the reason the government has not increased tax rates at all in the last 5 years was to give the business community a stable environment. But O'Neill said this must change in the next 5 years.
For the last 5 years, the government has maintained the tax rate at 30%. But at this rate, still many businesses and individuals are escaping the responsibility of paying tax. Many working class people who are average income earners are carrying this burden for them. O'Neill said this now calls for a tax reform as it is not fair to those who are bearing the country's burden.
We must make sure we capture the people who are now avoiding tax in the nation. They have a public duty to ensure that they pay the tax like everyone else. And we are going to reform the tax by trying to ensure that we have business confidence, making sure that business continue to survive in our nation, and of course prosper. As a result of business confidence, that means more employment for our people.
Only about less than 200,000 people in PNG are paying tax. Glenda Popo, TVWan News.
The government's ruling party, People's National Congress, is embarking on the reform of the public service machinery. PNG party leader and Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, while outlining the party's policies, said this is in order to strengthen capacity building and effective engagement of public servants in service delivery.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said PNG party on the backdrop of 6 billion kina spent in the last 5 years in service delivery wants more positive development outcome from an effective workforce. The Prime Minister said only a quarter of the country's population is engaged in the public service, yet more money is spent to sustain the workforce.
Public service is costing us more and more money, every year without fail. Every year, close to 300 million kina is going to fund the public service machinery. That is on top of the salaries that they are already getting. This kind of funding and this kind of wastage is unnecessary. It can be better used to fund other services.
The reform introduced will see an improvement in the public service machinery and delivered to the expectations required.
That is why it is important now that we reform the public service, not necessarily to try and sack people who are already in the positions, but it is to try and reform the public service so that they can deliver to the expectation of our people.
Also, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said his party is giving prominence in addressing public housing. The housing will not only improve the standard of living but also contributes to healthy living. Tere Alex, TVWan News.
The National Museum and Art Gallery announced on Thursday that they will put in additional effort and resources to protect the nation's war heritage. The Second World War in PNG played a vital role in creating Papua New Guinea as a nation, and the National Museum will play a greater leadership role in protecting the evidence of this period to ensure our children do not forget the sacrifices their ancestors made for their freedom.
An international expert will assist the National Museum and Art Gallery develop appropriate policies and procedures to train the museum staff to better manage the existing collection. Under this arrangement, NMEG will work closely with landowners and locals who are in possession of war remains on how to preserve this national heritage. Oro Governor Gary Jufa commended the National Museum for taking this step. The National Museum's focus on protecting war remains thus further complements the 75th anniversary of the Kokoda campaign. Governor Jufa added, "Today it is more important than ever to protect this heritage from decay, theft and destruction, and appeal to the museum to show the province a way forward on how they can help the museum preserve the past." Caroline Ure, TVWan News.
The Coffee Industry Corporation, through the Productive Partnerships in Agriculture project, is serious in ensuring best coffee is produced in the country. This week, the project offices were in Ayura, Eastern Highlands Province, conducting training on best practices in coffee rehabilitation to 70 CIC-attached officers.
70 data entry clerks, extension officers and project coordinators at the Coffee Industry Corporation's Research, Growers and Service Division at the Ayura Valley undertook the training. The training focused on how to identify suitable sites for growing Arabica coffee, field planting and establishment, how to look after young coffee trees from the nursery to the coffee garden, and how to report field data using recording templates. The highlight of the training was the presentation of coffee marketing models from conventional approach to certification and group marketing. Group marketing is one focus of the coffee rehabilitation project under CIC and PPAP for farmers to produce quality coffee to sell to specialty market for a better price. The training ended today. Charmaine Poreambe, TVWan News.
PNG Air has joined major world airlines such as British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, All Nippon Airlines, Qatar Airways and Taiwan's EVA on the CNN Best Aircraft Liveries of recent years. The aircraft livery introduced when the airline began bringing in its brand new ATR 72-600 aircraft in late 2015 was included this week. CNN described the distinctive and eye-catching PNG Air logo as a depiction of ancient patterns designed to reflect the nation's diversity and traditional icons from around PNG. PNG Air CEO Murali Siva said it was very pleasing to gain recognition from a body like CNN that is known and trusted around the world. The number of missing boats between the waters of Manus and East Sepik as a result of betel nut trade is increasing, forcing police in Manus to raise a stern concern. The latest report released by police was that of 4 men who, after their betel nut sale in Manus, were returning back to Wewak on the 29th of March in a 23-foot boat with 240 horse-powered engines. They were expected to arrive in Wewak on the 30th of March, but did not arrive as expected.
The 4 are reported missing for 8 days now and still no sign of them. Manus acting PPC Inspector David Yapu had appealed to boat operators travelling between Medang, Wewak and Manus to keep an eye out for them or report to police of their whereabouts. The National Disaster and Emergency Services with NMSA have been alerted to assist with the whereabouts of the missing 4. In February 2016, 9 people went missing between Manus and Wewak after their betel nut sale in Loringau. There have been no trace of them and they were presumed dead. PPC Yapu has now raised concern of the betel nut trade causing all these sea mishaps and lives missing at sea. Glenda Popo, TVWan News.
Oktedi Landowners Royalty Investment Trust or Royalty Trust has announced that it will make a payment of 1.5 million kina to its beneficiaries. The announcement was made during a beneficiary awareness held recently in Tabubil.
The beneficiary awareness was attended by over 300 landowners from the 10 mine villages and the Royalty Trust Board. The Royalty Trust is an investment trust established under the trust deed in 2004 to manage 20% of the mine villages' royalties as per a memorandum of understanding between the state, the Fly River Provincial Government and the mine area landowners. The Royalty Trust oversees, manages and safeguards investments for over 5,000 beneficiaries. The awareness session was to update the landowners on the functions, business plans and objectives of the Royalty Trust. During the awareness, the Board of Trustees Chairman Joel Duncan told the landowners that the trust will pay 1.5 million kina to its beneficiaries. The payment is for the years 2015 and 2016. At this stage, the census for the mining villages is being updated for all the 10 villages and the payment is expected at the end of this month. The payments will be to the beneficiaries' family accounts. Since its establishment in 2004, Royalty Trust has paid almost 20 million kina to the beneficiaries. Charmaine Poreambe, TVWan News.